ask a question. There's a long version and a short version of the question, but I'll give you the short version.
Okay.
Because Cummings, you know, pataphysical, metaphysical, he's against it and everything. There's one thing that he's known for, more than all this, is the fact he doesn't use capital letters.
Yeah.
And I just wondered, how do you explain his pataphysical orientation when it's based on a metaphysical presumption, which is an absence of capital letters in his writing? Okay.
That's a great question. I think two things in response to it, and I don't know how related they are. The first is that the smallness of the letters, it sort of resists the norm of capitalization, which is what Cummings is all about. And the smallness would represent the clinomen, for example, that tininess of the swerve. Like in the poem, the love move, the L to the M, that sort of tininess can only be represented with a lowercase vocabulary, I guess. And the second part of your question, I think that pataphysics does sort of need to start from metaphysics. Historically, it has to. Metaphysics was first. But the books I've read on pataphysics, they often describe it as far away from metaphysics as metaphysics is from physics. So it kind of is like a starting point and a jumping off point. But I think that the metaphor is a good example. In a metaphor, you say love is a rose, but you don't actually hold a rose or see a rose necessarily. But in pataphysics, they want you to create that world, and that's what I think Cummings does. He tries to create that world of smallness and chance and exceptions in his small vocabulary and his lowercase letters. I hope that sort of helps.
Thank you.
Yeah. Would that be a part of explaining the title? I think the title is No Thanks, right?
He only numbers his poems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how was it named No Thanks based on all those? Yes.
The book was called No Thanks in 1935. During the Great Depression, he was trying to publish this book, and I think 15 publishers rejected it. So so he just said no thanks to them all in his, where he would have said his acknowledgments in the start of this book.
Because I was wondering if there was a part of a negative, active part.
He
in what
was
you
a little
explained.
negative at the time, but not necessarily in regard to this poem. I don't think it's just number 58. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Pas d'autres questions? Ok, ben alors ce serait la conclusion.